Choosing a factoring method. Alright, so our first concept is determining whether an expression is completely factored. Remember, an expression that's completely factored has no common factors other than 1. Okay, so if I factor a trinomial, and I've already factored out a 5x, and I have 2x squared minus 5x plus 8, that is completely factored because 8, 5x, and 2x squared don't share any factors other than 1. Alright, if I have this situation, I factored out a 3, but I have 12x cubed, 2x squared, minus 6x. I do still have a common factor here, so I'm going to need to factor that out and multiply it by 3 to completely factor this. Okay, my common factor would be 2x, so I would have 3, I would have a x, and I would have a 6x squared, and if I pulled out a 2x, it would be 3 times 2x, or 6x. Okay. Alright. This is a problem that we did in one of our earlier lessons. There are a couple different ways to do this, and we're going to look at them in a little bit. But for right now, this is a situation where we're factoring by grouping. Okay, and if we pull out our common factors, we have 100x squared. Okay, times x plus 2, and we have 400 times x plus 2, and that'll give us 100x squared times, 100x squared plus 400 times x plus 2. And we've done this problem right? We have factored correctly, but now we have to recognize that this binomial, this 100x squared plus 400, still has common factors, and we need to pull those out. So we need to pull out 100 as my common factor, and have x squared plus 4 times x plus 2. Okay. Another example of a similar problem would be this one. You can factor it as normal, like we did up here. Break 15x into 2, and then factor it by grouping. However, we can also factor first. Okay, and I think factoring first is actually an easier thing to do. It makes my later steps easier. So if I was going to factor out a common factor from these, it would be 3, and I'd be left with 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay, and now this 3 is going to be outside as I finish factoring this problem, as I factor it into 2 binomials. This 3 will be outside, but I can kind of ignore it for now. And the smaller my numbers are, the easier it's going to be. Okay, so I'd be looking for 2 factors which multiply together to equal 6, and which add together to equal 5. So that would be 2 and 3. So I'd have 2x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 3. And I do still have this times 3 out here. Alright, but again, I can kind of ignore that until the end. Pull out my common factor of 2x. So I'm going to have 2x times x plus 1 plus, pull out my common factor of 3. 3 times x plus 1. Okay, and yeah, I still got my 3 there. Now I can rewrite them as 2x plus 3 times x plus 1 times 3. Okay, and that works. And it works the same way as this one did, except I pulled out my common factor at the beginning instead of factoring and then having to pull it out at the end. Both ways, both methods work, and it's up to you to decide which one you prefer.